Sabrina Artel, and welcome to Trailer Talk. Trailer Talk happens in my 1965 Beeline travel trailer. We go to main streets and events, big conversations from a little trailer from my neighborhood to yours. Come on in. Welcome to Trailer Talk. I have joining me Julie and Craig Sautner. You traveled all the way from Pennsylvania. We're here in Beaverkill, New York. This is the Catskill Mountainkeeper Field Day and Barnfest. Why don't you, let's just begin. Let's start with water. Let's start with where you live, what's happening because of natural gas drilling.
We live in Dimock, Pennsylvania, which is also known as Ground Zero because of all the contaminated wells that we have down in the area. Ours was contaminated back in September 11th of 2008, so we've been putting up with it for almost 2 years now.
So how did this begin? When were you first approached? When did you decide what you were going to do and what was happening with your neighborhood and people on your street and your community in Dimock? And as you say, Dimock terribly is ground zero. We're seeing every single thing that can and does go wrong with natural gas drilling going wrong in your home.
Right. Well, we moved in there in March of '08, and we didn't think anything about it. Then we started noticing trucks going up and down the road, all the traffic. And then that's when we had a landman approach us. And he said he wanted us to sign a lease. And he said, don't worry, all the leases are the same. He said, all your neighbors are signing. And if you don't sign, we're just going to take the gas out from underneath you anyway. So, and we knew, so what choice do we really have? So we decided to sign the lease. But nobody ever told us any of the wrongs that could happen. We were never informed. We were told that you won't even notice once we're done here. All you see is a little fire plug wherever the well is, and that's about all you're going to notice. We didn't have enough land for them to put a well on our property, so we didn't worry about that. Little did we know that them drilling a well on somebody else's property could contaminate our well like it did.
And speaking of that, I've been carrying around with me some of your well water from Dimock, PA.
Don't drink it.
You're home. Don't drink it. And this, here it is. And the water that you brought here today looks even worse. And, this water does not look anything like, my well water right now, right?
Right.
So to see that yellow, murky water, and what you brought here today was
even worse
is even worse. So what does this mean then at this point? What's happened to the quality of your life? You're in this fight now to spread the word, to share with us what can happen with fracking and with natural gas drilling.
Our life has been turned upside down because of, if you don't have fresh water, how can you survive? You can't survive without fresh water. So when we noticed it happen, we called the gas company, and they said they would be out and do some things to try to see what was going on. And they said that, I talked to them on the phone when I was at work, and they said they wanted to purge the well. They said that will clear it up probably. I said, don't do it, because the pump is old. It's 18 years old. And by the time I got home, it was done. It was already done, and we were out of water. They purged my well, and we had no water. So now they had to come up with a plan to do something. So they put a rollback truck in the driveway with a water buffalo in the back of it to give us water for the day.
And this is the first time we've had a
That was the first time we had a water buffalo. Yes, that was the first time.
And then it became winter, and the buffalo was going to freeze because it was sitting outside. So they decided to put in a filtration system.
But not the one that she picked out.
No. They put their own filtration system in, and it was basically a carbon filter, and it filtered the water. It took the color out of the water.
But that's all. See, we were the lucky ones. We were the lucky ones. We could tell we had a problem just by the color of the water. What about the poor kids that were still drinking the water that didn't know they had bad wells and that were throwing up and diarrhea and sores on their mouths and everything like that, and couldn't figure out for the life of them what was wrong with them. They had no idea what was wrong with them. They had clear water, but the wells were contaminated. So we were fortunate in that sense, you know. And you know, it was just a system they put in the house, and it was an add-on system. The more problems, the more they added on to it.
The more it wasn't cleaning the more water, the more they added on to it. So we have a big science lab down in our basement right now.
And so the science lab, so is it the gas company that's coming? And I mean, what's happening at this point? What's their involvement been? And what kind of recourse have you had?
They were the ones that picked out the system that we should get, had it installed. They paid for it all, and really what it was, they were just, you know, trying something out. We were like guinea pigs.
Yeah, covering up the problem, basically.
That's all they were doing. You know, it's like putting a Band-Aid on something, just masking the problem. Yeah. And that's what they did. They put the system in our house, and we used that system for almost a year with that water going through there. Okay, it might have cleared the water up. What about all the other contaminants? How do you know what even to test for? Because you don't know what chemicals they're using to frack. How do you know what to test for if they don't have to disclose it? Right. So we used that system for almost a year, and there's a carbon filter down there that would go bad within 3 months. That's how much stuff we had in the water.
And not only that, not only was our water dirty, we also had methane in our water.
Yes.
So they also added a methane remover down in the basement to try to remove the methane, which was not working as well. So to make a long story short, the DEP took the system offline and the wells, decided to bring
at the end of October
another water buffalo in for the second time for us. And we're still, here it is, 22 months later. Well, that's been since the end of October. 22 months later, we're still living out of a buffalo in our garage.
That's what we have. We have a water buffalo in the garage now with a hose that runs out the back through a hole in the wall that they drilled and ran a hose out and goes into a spigot in the back of the house.
So, Julie and Craig, what kind of life were you hoping for when you moved to Dimock? What was it like before natural gas drilling?
I was planning on retiring there. We moved back to Dimock area because my kids wanted to go back to Elk Lake High School. So we decided
and graduate and
right.
go to college and
right. So
now
we decided I had in 2008 I had like 7 years to go that I could retire. So now I have like 4.5 years to go. I don't want to retire there. How can I? I don't have any fresh water. Am I ever going to have fresh water? I don't know. Are they going to bring water in? They're going to pump it in or something? We don't know what they're going to do yet.
Our lives are basically on hold. Both of our children want to go to college, but we're on hold because we don't know what the future is going to bring. So here we sit being still invaded,
There's things we want to do to the house, and we don't even want to do it, because why put money into a house that's, you can't sell anyway? Yeah. Why would you want to, make it any better?
We don't know if it's that dangerous where they're going to say, okay, you people need to move out of the area. We don't know. We're waiting. It's a waiting game.
So like I said before, you can't. I can live without gas. I can't live without water, and I can't. We have to have our water. I mean, it's a precious commodity that we gotta, we better protect it. We have to protect it.
Water's it's not a privilege, or it's not a right. It's your privilege. So.
And we have constitutional rights too.
Yep.
We, in the U.S. and the state for clean water and clean air.